Yo, what's going on YouTube? I am Germ here, and today we're going to be talking about a mistake that I think I have recently made. I know recently we've been talking a lot about some of my wins on this channel. I've been kind of bragging to you guys about some of the ways I've been making some money because over the past couple months since I started my CSGO investing journey and really started researching and diving into a lot of this stuff and making content and doing all these things, getting ready for the parasail, things have been going quite well. I mean, it's been nothing insane that's like so far, but there's been some wins. I've had some big hits. You know, I had so far I'm up 50% on my Virtus Pro Stockholms. I'm up on some of my Antwerp investments. You know, I'm getting ready for Paris. I'm loading up funds, and overall my total account is up. I'm in the green. I'm in the positive. So things have been going well. But I also want to highlight some of my mistakes because obviously as we go through our investment journeys, we're gonna have a bunch of different ideas, and I'm constantly learning, and I'm constantly listening to different people on YouTube, on Twitter, Discord, Reddit, listening to people that I think are good, listening to people that I think are maybe not so good, trying to take away good ideas and bad ideas. And I'm also researching more and more every day. Every day I'm looking at more items, more graphs, more charts, seeing how things have performed historically. And really investing, you know, there's some kind of key principles and there's some math and data and all this stuff behind it. But at the end of the day, it's a lot of predictions and guessing and coming up with theses and coming up with reasoning and all this stuff. So my ideas and my perspectives, just like all of your guys's, are constantly going to be changing. And so far, again, and on my short journey so far, this is one of the perspectives that I think has changed, and I think has changed hopefully in a good way. But one big mistake that I have made, and one mistake that right now, my new philosophy that I don't want to make anymore in the future, and I would kind of recommend that other people would hopefully not make in the future, is going to be to stay away from glitters. So obviously I've been tracking all my investments. I even made a video about when I made this investment. One of my first kind of big investments coming back to CS over the past couple months has been the Cloud9 Antwerps. Now, Cloud9, very, very popular organization. I think a very good looking logo. It's a nice, clean blue logo. Also, Antwerp is a unique borderless Cloud9 sticker. Cloud9's got the big fan base. This thing just has a lot of things going for it. I think the Cloud9 Antwerp stickers have a lot of awesome fundamentals, and I knew I wanted to buy into Cloud9 Antwerp in some way. I knew it was going to be my biggest Antwerp position. Yes, it is the most expensive Antwerp sticker, so it's not that crazy of an idea to come up with, but still, even though I saw that it was the most expensive, I still thought it had a lot of room to grow and run, and I thought it was the best one going forward in the future. So I started looking at the glitter and the hollow, and you know, what I kind of saw was that really both of them have kind of performed similarly. When you look at the glitter overall, the bottom of the glitter was around 50 cents at its cheapest, and the peak here ended up going to around $7. So from, you know, kind of trough to peak, this was around a 14x gain, and then it had dropped around, you know, down to about 220. You know, let's say it dropped in like a third or something like that almost. But, you know, 14x gain, and then it kind of dropped 2/3 in price. Thought it might be an awesome opportunity to buy the dip, start loading up, especially ahead of the parasail where I thought, you know, Antwerp and Stockholm were going to be doing well, and so far they have. And then the other option here was obviously the Cloud9 Antwerp Hollow, which, while significantly more expensive, you know, I'd always known that, hey, hollows are the cool, highly sought after stickers and all this stuff, but I had also been listening to a lot of YouTubers and posts and people around there saying, hey, maybe keep your eye on glitters. Maybe glitters are the way to go. Maybe glitters, you know, you can get in on a low price. You can buy a ton of them. They're cheaper, so it's going to be easier for them to increase. They're going to have more room to run, all this stuff. The glitters look pretty good and yada, yada, yada. So I was like, hey, I know hollows are awesome, but maybe I want to look into glitters, but I'll also consider the hollows, of course. And the hollows looked pretty similar. You know, we see it at the bottom here, it's around $3.50. The peak up here is around $55, something like that, which again, I believe is also another around 14 times gain. I believe both of these things, you know, I'm going to do some math real quick. 3.5 divided by 55, or 55 divided by 3.5, and see that, yeah, this is around a 15 or 16x. So, you know, I didn't use exact numbers. So you can say maybe the hollow outperformed it a little bit on the upside, but pretty similar gains, about 14 to 15x at the very bottom to the very top for both of these. So overall, similar performances. And then on the way down, you know, this had been about cut in half. I think there had been less of a drop for the C9 Hollow. So I thought, hey, they had about the same run up, about the same gains, and maybe the Cloud9 Glitter was a little bit cheaper since it had dropped actually further than the Cloud9 Hollow. So I decided to start loading up on some Cloud9 glitters. I made the video. I ended up buying on two separate occasions. I bought on May 25th, where we can see the average price was about $291, and I bought more on June 1st, where we can see the average price is about $270. So let's, say my average price is around $280, $285, something like that. And hey, since then, we look at today and the average price is around $330. So overall, this is pretty good. This investment has still done well. This has not been bad. My Cloud9 glitters, I'm not losing money. Maybe after fees, I'm close to breaking even or something like that, but it's trending in the right direction. And overall, going forward, I think the Cloud9 glitters are going to be fine. But unfortunately, whatever, I ended up actually buying some holos as well, because at the over the next couple weeks, as I studied and looked up more, I decided that, hey, the C9 holos were probably the way to go. So on June 1st, I actually bought some holos, and we can see that since then, the Cloud9 holos have gone from about $32 up to $39, $40. I also had this peak up here around 46, but right now they're at about 40. So I do believe that right now, 35 divided by 5 is about not 7, what do I want to do, 5 divided by 35, about a 14% gain for those so far, and what, 285 divided by 330, I think is close to the same kind of gain so far. About a 15 or 16% gain. So really, these have both seen kind of similar gains. But at the peak here, the holo was definitely doing better. It started to cool off a little bit, and the glitter hasn't had as much of that so far. But I really think so far my biggest kind of mistake that I've made, because overall it's still going well and things would have been similar either way, is just kind of getting caught up messing around with glitters. Because overall, glitters, all it is you end up with way more of them. I have so many C9 glitters now, and it takes a long time to, it took a long time to buy them. And as I was buying them, I actually ate through a lot of the orders on the market, and the price I was able to get wasn't as good as it could have been, because I'm eating up all the cheap ones. I'm getting into a little bit higher prices, and I can either wait for more to be listed at hopefully a lower price, or I can just increase my cost basis, which sucks. I'm also going to have the same issue when I go to sell them. The first price that I sell them at, I'm going to have to eat into all the other orders and sell them at cheaper and cheaper prices. And the overall, the market moves seem to be pretty similar. So, you're just kind of dealing with more hassle, more pain in the ass for overall pretty similar results. And why? Because it's cheaper, because you can buy more of them. That doesn't matter. Just because things are cheaper, look at the history of CSGO. There's been so many cheap items, some that have done well, but so many cheap items that have stayed relatively cheap for so long, while the top end of the market has just kind of exploded and really popped off. But also at the end of the day, if you want to invest, you want to have it be a meaningful amount of money so you can get some meaningful amount of gains. You want to be investing hundreds or thousands or whatever of dollars. So I'm not trying to load up on a bunch of $1 glitters or a bunch of 50-cent glitters or whatever. I'd rather get the holos, because at the end of the day, I really do believe the holos are the ones driving the market. And again, right now, while we are at a similar overall performance for both the holos and the glitters, we can see that the glitters have been much more volatile. The glitters have had higher downswings, and even recently, the glitters haven't hit as high of highs as the holos. And again, when they hit these peaks, the glitters dropped much further, and the holos actually held their price much better, and now on the way up have been following a significant uptrend. So overall, I just think that when you look at all these stickers and when people get ready to buy for Paris and all this stuff, I really think you are making a mistake if you are dealing with glitters, because if you look at a ton of other stickers, you'll see very, very similar things. You have the Imperial holo here, which has done quite well. You'll see that the Imperial glitter and holo have followed similar graphs, but overall, I think most of the time the holo just a little bit outperforms it. It holds up a little bit better in the dips. It rips a little bit higher when it goes up. This thing bottomed at about 10. It's up to 22 now. The glitter hit about 150, and it's up to around 3 now. So the holo's done better for Imperial as well. And if you look at others, I looked at 9Z and some other things. Obviously, we don't have as much data and much history on glitters as we do with some other things, because glitters just came out during Antwerp. We have Antwerp and Rio, but Rio's kind of a totally different beast. I don't know. Overall, I do think that it is a mistake to mess around with glitters too much going forward. I'm not going to be a buyer of glitters probably at all, maybe a little bit. During the Paris sale, glitters actually can be a little bit interesting if you can get some glitters for really, really cheap, like 3 cents or 4 cents or 5 cents or whatever. But right now, it's really not the case with many of these Antwerp investments that people are buying up. So I would maybe consider some Paris glitter investments at the very bottom of the market, trying to get these crazy huge run-ups. But even then, I still think that the holo alternatives in most cases and in most of the graphs and most of the charts I've looked at are the overall better investment. And I think a lot of people know that the holos are the ones, the money makers, the ones where all the kind kind of hype and excitement and everything is. But I think people try to get a little too cute. People try to be a little bit too different. I think every once in a while it is good to be a contrarian investor, but I'm definitely having some regrets. If I could go back and do it all again, I would load up on Cloud9 Hollows. I wouldn't buy the glitters. Now, I have these glitters. I'm not going to sell them. I'm going to hold on to them. But if I buy any Cloud9 Antwerp or any other Antwerp stickers in the future, I'm definitely going to be loading up on the hollows. Now, again, who knows? Maybe as I do more research and dive into more stuff and hear more opinions, my thoughts and everything could change. But for right now, I definitely consider, especially medium to big time investors, maybe if you're a really, really small investor, maybe glitters are the way to go. But even then, hollows are still pretty cheap and you can get a decent amount of them, or even one is fine. But I really think any medium to big term investor that's messing around with glitters too much is either adding extra hassle and extra pain in the ass for little to no gain, or is just going to see overall worse returns on their investment. That's kind of where I stand right now. So my kind of advice to myself going forward, but also to anyone else who might agree with me or might listen to the things that I have to say, is don't mess around with glitters. Focus on the hollows. Do your research. Find the hollows that are going to be big winners. And be confident in your picks. Make some good moves, and hopefully we can all make some more money going forward. But that's pretty much it for this video today, guys. Hopefully I catch you in the next one. But until then, peace.